The following is a non-profit fan-based parody. The X-Men and all subsequent characters and settings used in the series are owned by 20th Century Fox, Marvel Studios, Sony Pictures, Universal Pictures, Marvel Comics, and the Walt Disney Company. Please support the original releases and read the source materials. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
X-Men, X-Men.
Fucking weebs.
X-Men, X-Men. Heroes by day, losers by night. Can't get laid to save their lives. Untouchable, unrelatable, being awkward, yeah, that's undeniable. Undateable X-Men, that's the proof. Weirdos in action, yeah, that's the proof. Even when they win, yeah, they freaking lose, cause they act the fool. They're not even cool. Undateable, it's undeniable, indescribable, unrelatable. All there for the world to see. Even they act like they can't believe, yeah. X-Men, X-Men, X-Men.
Another lovely day in Westchester County, home to our favorite Institute for Mutants. One of them is heading out the door now.
Mail's here.
Ooh, anything for me?
Actually, there's stuff for just about everyone. However, Scott, since you asked, here you go. You have 2 letters.
Oh boy, one of them is from Jean.
What's it say?
Oh, some personal stuff. But she and the professor are doing well at the mental health spa. Plus a sexy little picture.
That's right. You don't know. The Professor and Jean won't be in the series for a couple of episodes. As mentioned by Scott, they're in a mental health spa. What's a mental health spa, you ask? Well, a mental health spa, or retreat, in quotations, as one may call them, are designed to infuse a sense of calm into the healing process. They are used to provide a respite from the daily stressors or triggers that keep you off balance and allow you to become stable again, and to focus on wellness within a tranquil, upscale setting. We'll see more of it in an upcoming episode, but let's see a sneak peek on how Jean and the professor are enjoying their vacation.
I have to tell you, Professor, I'm so glad we did this. I really needed a break from Scott.
Oh, is everything okay between you?
Yeah, we're fine. It's just you know how overenthusiastic he gets about the anime stuff. Not to mention the fact that he's very sensitive about it. If you either misname something or don't give it the same level of enthusiasm he gives it, he gets defensive about it.
Well, it was nice of you to write that letter.
Yeah, I kind of felt bad about lying to him about the whole phone situation, so it was the least I could do.
Enjoy your vacation while you can, for little do you know, it's a trap.
Well, this is an unexpected turn of events. It would appear that one of the individuals that run this resort is a member of the Hellfire Club. What's the Hellfire Club, you ask? The Hellfire Club's goal is to obtain and exert power through politics and economic influence instead of outward conquest and domination. Since its foundation, the Hellfire Club has been involved in wars and assassinations to further the agendas of the club's most powerful members. If that were the case, why would they be running a mental health organization, you ask? Well, that's for a later episode in the series. For now, let's just go back to Xavier's mansion and see how the X-Men are doing.
I'm surprised you guys are writing letters, considering how involved in the media you are.
Yeah, phones and computers aren't really allowed in this spa. The people that run it call it triggers. Besides, Jean is a sucker for 80s styles romance.
Young love. Let's see. Kurt, you have a package.
Cool. Must be the book I ordered.
Oh, anything I'm familiar with?
That depends. How familiar are you with Japanese literature?
Well, I consider The Tale of Genji to be one of my favorite works. I'm surprised that you... Wait a moment. Is that another anime thing?
I've neither confirm nor deny that answer.
Okay, let's see here. A letter for Aurora from some guy in Wakanda. A letter for Peter from his sister in Russia. Forge got the latest issue of Mech Mag. Warren got another letter from his dad.
I don't want it, Hank.
Okay, then. Remy has received another deck of cards. Kitty has the latest in style. Bobby, you got the latest issue of Sports Illustrated. And it looks like I got another royalty check from that book I published.
Well, that's terrific. Everyone got something in the mail and I didn't.
I'm sorry to hear that, Logan. If it makes you feel any better, Rogue didn't get anything either. Come to think of it, I haven't seen her since lunch yesterday. I hope she's doing all right.
For those of you that didn't catch the last episode, Rogue had an accidental kiss with Remy, which to most people would be a social faux pas. However, Rogue's mutant abilities prevent her from having a physical relationship with anyone. Let's see how she's handling it.
Why must I suffer the temptation that is most lewd from my beloved Remy? I cannot touch him, yet I love him. Is that not just? So I must act my form of justice upon him, for any acts of love are just, since they are for sake of love, my beloved Remy.
Okay, just because she didn't get anything doesn't make me feel any better.
Regardless, Logan, everyone got mail because they either ordered packages, wrote letters, or were expecting checks in the mail. So I'm not really sure what to tell you, Bub. Hello, Toad. What brings you over here?
Greetings, Hairy Man. I have a note for Weasel Man. Is Weasel Man here today?
Logan, it looks like you finally got some mail after all.
What is it? Anything good?
Well, that depends. How do you feel about letters from Toad?
You picked the wrong house, bub. This can't be any good.
Here! Toady, give Weasel Man message! Ah!
I know that Toad normally deserves whatever punishment he receives, but why did you uppercut the poor lad? All he did was hand you a note.
Not just any note. It turns out I have to go to court because I'm being sued.
That's horrible. By who?
One of my old sparring partners, the Incredible Hulk. Mon Dieu, I can't believe one of our own took on an Avenger. To be fair, he wasn't an Avenger at the time, but yeah. My memory is still a little fuzzy, but if I recall, this was back in my Weapon X days. Along with myself, there was Omega Red, Sabretooth, Maverick, Lady Deathstrike, and, Deadpool. Due to my adamantium skeleton and regenerative healing factor, I was sent to assassinate the Hulk, though it was he who landed the first punch. Now, I need to go look for a suit.
Wait, I'll go with you.
I don't need your help finding a suit, bub.
I know you don't. It's for me. I have jury duty.
Well, be careful what you wish for, Logan. But what exactly is the Incredible Hulk suing Wolverine for? And does he have much of a case? Let's find out.
All rise for the Honorable Judge Sharp.
Thank you, Bailiff. You may be seated.
Logan, why are you slinking? The case hasn't even started yet.
Ugh, look at the jury, Wyndon. Brotherhood members, nasty boys, and my former associates at Weapon X. I might as well be dead in the water.
Hello, Wolverine kin.
Well, Scott is there, so that's good, right?
Bub, that's not as good as you think it is.
There will be no chit-chat while the Honorable Judge Sharp is going over the case.
Thank you, Bailiff. Okay, it looks like it says here the plaintiff, the Hulk, is suing the defendant, Wolverine, for bills caused by your several years of fighting, correct?
That correct, Your Honor. Hulk suing Puny Man for damages.
Objection, bub.
Excuse me?
Sorry. Objection, Your Honor. It was the plaintiff who actually threw the first punch.
Puny Man, lie! Puny Man threw first punch at Hulk!
You calling me a liar, bub?
No! Hulk calling you out, Puny Man!
Order! Order! If you two don't get your act together, I will throw this case and you out.
Sorry, Your Honor.
Sorry, Your Honor.
It says here that you are also suing for medical bills?
That correct, Your Honor.
Okay, and correct me if I'm wrong, but both you and Wolverine don't have a really good healing factors?
That correct, Your Honor.
Then why are you suing him for that?
It not physical damage, Your Honor. It for emotional damage. Hulk even brought therapist.
Okay. Is the individual to verify that in court today?
He is. He's strange.
I'm sure he's a little weird, but where and who is he?
He is. He's strange.
Why is he strange?
No, that his name.
That's his name?
Yes.
Doctor Strange Doctor?
No, get rid of one of doctors.
Which one?
Magic Man. Tell court about emotional damage.
I told you, I'm not that kind of doctor.
You don't have any other doctor to support your claim, but let's see if the damages can be proven. Now, who represents the plaintiff?
I do, Your Honor. I am Jennifer Walters, though most people refer to me as She-Hulk for obvious reasons.
Okay, then. And who represents the defendant?
I do, Your Honor. Evangeline Whedon, lawyer and member of the Mutant Rights Coalition, or Mutant Rights League, if you prefer.
Very good. Can the plaintiff tell us how he met the defendant and what exactly happened?
Hulk can. Hulk met Puny Man years ago. Hulk minding business in woods. Then Puny Man jumped up on Hulk.
Objection, Your Honor. Hulk attacked me first.
Not true. Hulk in woods minding Hulk's own business. Hulk wanted to be left alone. Puny Man come after Hulk.
Is this true, Wolverine?
Look, bub.
Excuse you?
Sorry, Your Honor. It may not look like it, but I'm over 200 years old. As such, my memory isn't really what it should be. But I know that I'm not the one who threw the first punch.
That not true. Puny Man lies.
Say that one more time, bub.
Order! Order!
Puny Man lies.
I said order. One more time and I'll throw the book at you. Since the defendant and the plaintiff can't be civil, I will see if the lawyers would like to call a witness. Miss Walters, since you represent the prosecutor, is there anyone you would like to see take the stand?
I would, Your Honor. I would like to call Nina Thurman to the stand.
Nina Thurman, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and none but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You may take a seat.
Now, were you there on the day of question with the defendant, Miss Thurman?
I was.
Where did this take place, Miss Thurman?
Banff National Park. It's located in Canada.
Now, it says here that you've worked with the defendant on and off, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Now, what can you tell me about the defendant?
Well, he's unluckier than I. But then again, who isn't?
Order! Either you answer Miss Walters' question seriously or I will hold you in contempt of court.
Very well. I wouldn't say he's the angry type, but that doesn't mean you should try his patience either. He has a weakness movies and series that star brooding loner character. Trigon, Princess Mononoke, and Darker Than Black, for example. Mainly because he can relate to them. On missions, he could be very unpredictable. Sometimes he will strike first, but then there are times where he waits for his opponents to do so.
In your missions with him alone, what can you say the percentage of him attacking first is?
Since a good portion of our missions were on a need-to-know basis, I would say he did the attacking first. Usually a get in, then get out kind of thing. But if I had to put a number on it, I'd say 70% of the time Wolverine attacks first, at least in my personal experience in working with him.
One last question. Can you tell us what happened the moment of the day in question?
Well, Banff, like most of Canada, is known for its snow. As such, a snowstorm was happening and we couldn't see where we were going. But there had been reports of a monster terrorizing the locals. No information was given about it except a roar could be heard in the distance and the fact it's capable of doing some damage. Logan served as the muscle and tracker. I was brought to tag it so we could keep an eye on it. Under normal circumstances, they would have told us to eliminate it. But considering it hadn't harmed anyone, our orders were to tag it. We got separated during the storm. I heard a monstrous noise in the area, and I didn't want to shoot in because I didn't want to shoot my partner, because there's no way I'm that lucky.
When the snow cleared, do you recall what happened?
Well, I eventually found my partner, beaten and exhausted. By what or who, I'm not sure.
No further questions.
Very good. Would the lawyer of the defendant like to cross-examine the witness?
I would, Your Honor. Now, Miss Thurman, what can you tell me about Banff National Park?
Well, like much of the rest of Canada, it's very snowy there.
How snowy would you say it is?
And what do you mean by that?
Well, on a scale of 0 being the Sahara Desert and 10 being Antarctica, how cold and snowy would you, in your opinion, say it is?
I did take a job in Antarctica, but I remember it being much hotter than you're probably thinking.
I'm not sure to which you were talking about, but for the sake of argument, let's say the part of Antarctica that everyone's familiar with.
In my best judgment, I would say it'd be about it 8.5 if I had to put a number on it.
When did you and the plaintiff go to said national park?
Do you need an exact date?
If you remember it, yes. Otherwise, an approximate would be fine.
I would say our expedition took place in November. I remember as such because I remember Canada starting to expect snow, and boy did it. We were in the middle of a huge snowstorm, and we heard a roaring noise, and we thought it had to be the Hulk. Nothing else could have survived up there.
Can you repeat that last line?
Nothing else could have survived up there?
Interesting thing you would say. Canada has a population of about 38 million. Would you consider them nothing?
Well, people obviously, but very few animals can survive up there.
Objection. What does this have to do with anything?
The point, and I do have one, Your Honor, is in relation to what I just asked the witness. So if you'll allow me to continue, I can make it.
All right, I'll allow it, but only because I'm curious to see where this leads.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, biology aside, I'd like to get back to the 38 million citizens, if I may. 10 of those citizens are Alpha Flight. Can you tell me about them?
Other than name alone and the fact they reside in Canada, no.
Well, as previously mentioned, this is a Canadian-based group composed of 10 members. Of those 10, only 2 of them would relative to this court case, those being Walter Lankowski and Narya. You may better know them as Sasquatch and Snowbird. Now, when Walter transforms into Sasquatch, he gains superhuman abilities, accelerated healing, and sharp teeth and claws. So good chance he can roar if he had the need or desire to. Now, Narya has a more diverse set of abilities. The one I refer to specifically, of course, is her ability to shapeshift into any Arctic animal. Canada, not including humans, is home to about 80,000 different species of animals, and only a fraction of such are considered to be Arctic animals. That's kind of a lot for not that many, but comparatively speaking to other parts of the world, I'd agree with you.
What exactly are you getting at?
My point is this. This list of Arctic animals includes polar bears, grizzly bears, walruses, wolves, lynxes, bobcats, caribou.
What is your point?
My point is that a noise could be from any of the myriads of wildlife that exist. So it didn't necessarily mean that it came from my partner or the defendant. But locals are used to these animals, so there would be no immediate cause for concern. But there's a chance that it could be Sasquatch, the howling winds, or the Wendigo.
Objection. Wendigos haven't been spotted in several years.
Well, neither have dragons. Yet here we are.
Order! Order! You've proven your point, and I demand you transform back into your previous form.
Very well, then. My point is this. Just because it hasn't been seen, as you would say, in quite a long time, doesn't mean we can't rule out that possibility.
Okay, yes, but that's just one example.
Dinosaurs, sea monsters, aliens. While I doubt any of these were the culprit for this particular case, that doesn't mean we should rule out the possibility. Besides, the only eyewitness that was brought over was one that couldn't see anything due to the fact that it was during a snowstorm. Unless Miss Thurman, at any point after you and the plaintiff got separated, did you catch any glimpse of what happened?
Honestly, not really. What I know is I came in with Logan. At some point during the snowstorm, we got separated and I hid in a cave for shelter. But I tried paging my associate at the time of the set event in question. He sounded gnarly. I mean, he normally does, but he sounded like he was fighting someone gnarly, but I didn't get a good look.
No further questions, Your Honor.
I have to say, you do good work.
When it comes to defending mutants, I make it my best to do so.
So glad Hank hooked me up with a lawyer as talented as yourself.
Well, the case isn't over yet.
Indeed, it isn't. I'd like to call Steve Rogers to the stand.
Steve Rogers, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God?
I do, Your Honor.
Take your seat.
Now, Steve, can you tell me about yourself as well as relationships with both of my clients?
Oh, let's see. I was a young lad born in Brooklyn. Scrawny kid, but with a heart of gold. The military took interest in that and recruited me to be a part of this project to help fight the Krauts. Help fight the Germans in World War II. Pardon my old school speech. We won the war, of course, but I wasn't aware of this until several decades later, due to the fact that I was frozen for so long. As such, I still find myself adjusting to today's world, mostly with electronics and matters of speech. But I digress. The only person in this room I actually did fight with was the defendant in question. He was a short guy, but he was scrappier than anyone else I've ever met. His manners are subpar at best and atrocious at worst, but he knows how to dish it out as well as he can take it when it comes to a good brawl, which is why we and a handful of other individuals were sent to take down the secret organization known as Hydra, and it is safe to say we were successful due to the events that followed. Hulk, on the other hand, I had not met until sometime after I was unfrozen. There I was indoctrinated into the Avengers with the likes of Tony Stark, Thor, and the Plaintiff, respectively. Since then, we've faced foes like AIM, the Kree, and even Thanos himself. He's a good fighter, as he and Thor usually handle the more bulkier opponents like Ulick, Abomination, and Juggernaut.
Thank you. And according to your own words, you've known the defendant before you met the plaintiff. And remember, you are under oath.
Wow, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Yes, that is correct.
Have you encountered the defendant since you've awoken from your hibernation?
Every now and then to reminisce about the good old days over some bottled sunshine, or, as you folks would say, a beer.
Thank you. Have you fought with the defendant since the World War II?
Other than the occasional bar fight, no. Can't say that I have.
Interesting. How often does the occasional bar fight happen?
Only once.
Can you tell me about that incident?
I can, Your Honor. One of the ways I have been getting accustomed to the present day is with gaming and social media. As such, I found someone recommended to me by the name of Best There Is 74. We started chatting online and decided to meet in a bar in his neck of the woods. He tells me, from what he can remember, what has happened since the war. He also told me about the X-Men and how they help the mutants create peace between themselves and the humans. He also told me stuff about Japanese animation, but I was under the impression that he was drunk, so I didn't think anything of it.
So with that said, why was the plaintiff in a bar fight? Can you tell me how much he was drinking?
Honestly, he only had 2 pints of beer, which is basically nothing for someone of his level of healing factor.
So, if it wasn't the booze, then do you recall what it was?
I can. We were both reminiscing about the good old days, and then this crazy lady with long, sharp fingers came looking for a fight. She came looking for Logan, and as always, Wolverine had his claws out, but didn't initiate the fight.
Can you tell me what exactly happened? In terms of dialogue, that is.
I'm not sure if my Logan impression is up to par.
Your regular voice will more than suffice, just as long as the words are accurate.
Let me see. The woman busted in looking for Logan. Logan said he was here, and that he'd be more than willing to duke it out, just not here. She attacked him regardless, claws out, and he grabbed her and threw her out the window. I had urged everyone to stay back in fear for their own safety. I don't know why they were so eager to see the action. Back in my day, when you saw two superpowered individuals duking it out, we ran in the other direction. But everyone started whipping out their phones and tried taking pictures and recordings of it. I kept them at bay. When I went outside, I didn't see the woman in question, just the defendant.
But it was obvious that the woman who had attacked the defendant had met the defendant prior, right?
Objection!
Overruled. Like many of the superpowered individuals I have come across in these cases, the one common pattern I've noticed is that most of the time the alleged villains come looking for you. So I've now decided to take that into a factor. You may continue.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, had the woman who attacked the defendant met him prior?
I personally can't say for sure, but according to both of them, they said they did.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Would you like to cross-examine the man on trial?
I would not, Your Honor.
Okay, we're going to take a short recess.
You do good work, cousin.
Thank you, but we haven't won the case just yet.
I'm screwed, bub. We're going to have to pay back all that damage.
Relax. Hank would never have told me about this case had he not believed I would be a good lawyer. The plan I have, and yes, I do have a plan, will get you off scot-free.
Don't say Scott. He's part of the jury.
That's not what I meant.
I know what you meant. I know you're a good lawyer, but if we lose this case, we could owe a lot of money. Or worse.
Which is why we won't lose. Tell you what, just to show you how serious I am in this case, I'll tell you this. If I don't get you off, I promise, on my honor as a mutant, I will resign.
You must be sure of yourself.
Comes with the job description.
All rise for the Honorable Judge Sharp.
Thank you. Once again, bailiff. Now, the lawyer of the defendant chose not to cross-examine the character witness. Would the lawyer of the defendant, would you like to question someone else?
I would, Your Honor. I call to the stand Bruce Banner, or in his current state, the Hulk.
Objection, Your Honor, on the fact that he really can't talk.
I'd like to ask the stenographer if the Hulk has spoken at all.
He has spoken many times. It was a kind of broken caveman-like way of communication, but he can, in fact, is capable of speech.
Motion denied. Hulk, please go to the bailiff, swear in, and sit down.
Do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Hulk, do!
You may take your seat.
Now, for this testimony, would you prefer to be addressed as Bruce Banner or Hulk?
Objection. Relevance.
I just wish to know how to address the plaintiff in question. So once again, do you wish to be addressed as Dr. Bruce Banner or the Hulk?
No Banner, only Hulk!
Very well, Hulk it is. Now, Mr. Hulk, you met my client several years ago in Canada during one of the coldest months of the year, specifically when it snowed, correct?
That correct.
What made you want to tread on Canadian soil? Your alter ego, Bruce Banner, was born in Ohio. At some point, he took a job in the Los Diablos missile base and a military base in New Mexico. The Gamma bomb went off, and that in turn led to the individual seen before us. Last I checked, New Mexico and Canada don't exactly have the same climate.
Hulk not like puny dragon lady. Hulk can withstand cold, can withstand anything.
Interesting. You can withstand anything. But you never answered my question. Why go to Canada? Just because you can withstand it doesn't mean you enjoy it, right? I can tolerate the lines at Starbucks doesn't mean I enjoy them. So why go to Canada?
Hulk needed space.
Interesting that you went to that place in particular, where my client was at that time.
Why that interesting?
Well, since that alleged day, you guys have fought in Texas, New York, and Canada again. But most of those times, you've done more damage than he's done.
Puny man, pay!
Order! 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 We've listened to the testimonies, and I believe we have enough evidence from both sides, as the case may be. Now, it's the jury's job to separate the facts from the fancy. If any of you have a reasonable amount of doubt, then you must administer that the defendant is not guilty. However, if you believe that without a doubt the defendant is responsible for what happened, then you must admit him guilty. Regardless of what you decide, it must be unanimous. The two have fought, and like all of their other disputes, only one shall emerge the victor. It is your job to determine which. You have a big responsibility on your hands. And for that, I thank you.
As for the remaining jury we have, I'd like to ask you to please adjourn to decide the outcome of this case.
Well, that was a captivating court case. After 3 hours and 1 minute, the jury has officially made a consensus. Let's see what it is.
Can't believe it. That stupid X-Men piece of shit.
Does the foreman of the jury have a verdict?
We do, Your Honor. We find the defendant not guilty.
Ha ha! Yes!
What?
Turns out Logan isn't the only one who's best at what they do.
Very good. Since the defendant is found innocent, the plaintiff will be forced to pay for the damages caused by their fighting.
Don't worry, Tony owes me a favor. I'll make sure that he pays for the damages.
However, since the behavior of the defendant during the court has led me to question the behavior of the defendant outside the court, I will have to sentence him to anger management. Next session is at the community center. I strongly suggest you take it.
Hold on! My rage is what powers me! Besides, Hulk is proven to be angrier than I am!
That may be. But his records show that he's been making great strides in his anger management sessions. Save for the fact that you're pretty much one of the only people to set him off. Now, he sees a Doc Samson to help regulate his anger. He'll be your anger management coach as well. He does hour-long sessions every Wednesday at the community center. I am ordering you to take them until I say otherwise. At some point, I'll be dropping in to see your progress. Court adjourned.
I can't tell. Did I win?
I know I sure did. Let me know if you or any of the other X-Men need a lawyer. I'll send you my bill.
Well, Wolverine won the case, but it turns out that he has to face anger management therapy with Doc Samson. Let's see how he's able to handle that. Stay tuned for another episode of the Undateable X-Men.